Hey lovelies, it's Kate. Welcome back to another Snowy Escape speed build. I just had to build another build with this pack because I'm obsessed. As I said in my last speed build, this pack did not disappoint, and all of this is way out of my comfort zone. I really enjoy what it looks like. I love Japan. I would love to visit one day, but this is like really different from what I'm usually building. As I said, I'm just working on these absolutely over the top luxurious mansions that you would expect in Beverly Hills or something, like some type of McMansion. So this is very different, which is also why I enjoy it so much. It's just so new and so fresh. And on that note, I have to say, this is just not 100% authentic, and I don't claim that this is authentic at all. I just do my best, and I want to be really respectful about this, because even though it's a game, this is still about Japan and Japanese culture. So when I built the temple, for example, I wanted to furnish it in a really neutral kind of way. So as you will see, there is a rock garden at the bottom, so just lots of plants and stuff, and then there's also just an area for meditation using some spa day objects. I wanted to keep it quite neutral, and as I said, this is not authentic. I don't want to offend anyone. I also said this in my last speed build, and I received some kind comments saying that I shouldn't worry too much, it's just a game, and I agree, but at the same time I want everyone to feel comfortable, and I can't just build a build and say it's Japanese and then it's like all over the place. So I just want to give this disclaimer. I'm doing my best here, and I really enjoyed working on this build. The whole pack has been so much fun, but this build has also been just a huge issue, and I have to say, while it was fun, I'm also really happy that it's done, and I just want to move on to the next build. Why? Because there were so many bugs. I don't know why. I don't know if it was just a coincidence, because right after the pack came out in the patch, I didn't have a lot of problems. I had some issues, but it wasn't too bad. But this build, at some point, I had no idea if I could even finish it, if I could even upload the build to the gallery. The floor was randomly disappearing. At first, it only happened on the inside when I was working on the floor plan. It was completely gone. We had a similar glitch caused by the unliving glass floors and glass roof swatches from the base game, but this glitch was like completely different, also the way it looked, and it happened on the inside, so I figured that platforms might be the reason. Then I rebuilt the rooms, and then it didn't work, and then it somehow worked, and I was really relieved. But then I continued to landscape, and suddenly I noticed that the floor inside this curved path that you saw in the beginning was completely gone, and I literally only used floor on the terrain, no platforms, no foundation or floor piece, just floor, just a floor pattern or whatever it's called. So I was stunned. I was really confused, and I had enough at this point, and I tried different things. I ran to manage roads and ran back, and nothing worked, and then I changed the floor, and then it worked. Like, I used the new floor from Snowy Escape, the one with stripes for the rock gardens, and I just changed the direction. Like, you can place it in either direction, and then it magically worked, and I hope that it's fixed now. If you should download this from the gallery, if there should be any glitches, I'm really sorry. I don't know, but for me, after the last patch, the patch we got a couple of days ago, it just got worse. Like, I don't know, after the initial patch and the pack, I didn't have a lot of problems. I mean, I was struggling a bit with the translucent edges, the translucent walls from the platforms, but this was about it. And I received a lot of comments from you saying, yeah, hi, how can you play this? Isn't your game crashing? Don't you have any issues? And I was like, no, I'm like really lucky apparently. But then after we got the patch a couple of days ago, everything went crazy in my game. So I just wanted to let you know, in case you download this, I'm really sorry, and I bet a lot of you are having lots of issues with this. I'm just hoping for another fix, and honestly, I would rather they just work on this a couple of days longer and then it's alright than just rushing things. I understand that they are like in a really difficult position, probably because everyone got the patch and the pack and everyone is excited and they just want to quickly fix it, but there are like lots of issues, and I'm really happy about the platforms. especially when it comes to this build, I really noticed how powerful they are. I'm going to explain this in a second. But at the same time, I don't know, lots of glitches, but I love it. So when I was working on the temple, this was also a struggle, by the way. Like, this was like the 4th attempt or something, or the 3rd one. I don't even know. It started on an empty lot, and I always started to work on the temple first, and I just couldn't nail the shape. It looked horrible. Like, the proportions were wrong. I had no idea what to do, the roofing, so I started over and over again. I didn't include these attempts here, so this is like the final attempt, and I was about to give up, but I thought, no, it's starting to look better with every attempt. Just keep going, and I did. And after finishing the temple, or the shape of the temple, I was pleased, and I kept going. So I wanted to have these balconies, just like areas where you could walk. Then I wanted to have a fence and also a roof around it. And the problem is, sometimes when you use a fence right next to a roof, the fence isn't really visible. Sometimes it disappears. I have no idea what's even going on. Roofing can be a nightmare in this game. And now you are so much more flexible when you are roofing and when you want to combine fences with roofs, because you can literally just place a platform on a roof, and then you can just add any type of fence or half wall. You can do so many things. I also want to work on a modern build soon. I kind of did already, like I did some type of draft and I had so much fun, because let me tell you, the platforms are also amazing for modern builds, and I just really enjoy to do that, because roofing is just, this is like a major game changer for roofing in my opinion. Like, of course, also for split levels on the inside, lots of fun tricks, but roofing, and I don't know, there are like so many new possibilities, and this is what I really noticed when I was working on the modern build that you don't see here yet, but I've been working on something. And then when I wanted to have a fence right next to the roof, I don't know. So this was fun. Like, I really enjoyed this, and this was all before the weird glitches occurred. And again, I put a heavy focus on landscaping here. I wanted to have another bridge. I also did this my last Snowy Escape speed build. I wanted to have this type of bridge, and yeah, there I had another struggle. I just don't want to complain all the time, but I always share what's going on, how I build a house, my tricks, my ideas, and what's going on. So I always talk about these things, and I always share them, and unfortunately there are like so many bugs, but I don't want to complain all the time. I've also been sharing these things on Twitter, because maybe someone can see it, and I don't know, I just share all these things, and unfortunately a lot of bad things have happened recently. So I don't know, I don't want to come across as negative. I'm always so positive and hyped, but I mean, I want to be honest, and when I'm hyped and when I'm positive, then it's authentic, and I really am hyped and really happy. But right now I'm just not. I enjoy the pack, I enjoy building, I feel really inspired, and I'm ready to create more builds, but at the same time I just feel like I should mention what has been going on. So stairs are a major problem as well. This seems to be caused by the whole platform situation as well. I built this bridge, and when I built it, I wanted to attach some stairs. The bridge is diagonal, so I had to attach a triangular platform to then attach the stairs, and I did that, but I couldn't place them no matter what I was doing. There was just one area on the lot where I couldn't place any stairs like this, and eventually I changed the height of my floating foundation, and then it worked. But then when I attached my stairs, when I wanted to increase the height of my foundation again, it wouldn't work. I also, in another build, in the last build, couldn't attach stairs in some areas, or I wanted to attach stairs to a platform on the inside, and then whenever I changed something in the build, like when I added a wall, the height of the stairs would just randomly change, and they were as high as the wall. They just went like to the next floor, and I don't know, this was like a nightmare. And then I eventually decided to just add more platforms, only one step high instead of stairs, so my Sims would be able to walk down there. This wasn't for this build though, this was the last one. I don't even know if I'd mentioned it in my last speed build, but yeah, stairs are tricky. So when this happens, when your floor disappears, try to change the floor. And of course, if it happens inside a room, just rebuild the room, maybe change the platform height. And when the stairs bug happens that I just mentioned, just try to change the foundation height in case you're using a floating foundation. And when it happens on the inside, nothing helps. I would just recommend you to add more platforms, to just have some steps instead of proper stairs. So, I mean, these don't bug as much. And yeah, like so many bugs, I'm sorry. But yeah, as I said, I always tell you what's going on and what happened while building this build. And to be honest, a lot of things happened. This was like a long journey, and now I'm finished, and I'm really happy that I can finally present you this build, and I hope that I fixed all issues. But wow, also I built this facing into the wrong direction. Like, this is a nightmare. I'm just so happy that the end result is alright, that I'm just happy with this and that I can show you this. But the whole process, I don't know what was going on. But I wanted to build this type of build where I just put a heavy focus on the garden, just like I did for my other build. I also do this in Deso Valley. So I start to work on the garden, I do the landscaping, and then I build the house. But eventually I decided to have these huge rocks behind my temple, and then when you just looked at the build from the front, there was nothing but a huge rock and just this small house, and it was horrific. I didn't want to upload it this way to the gallery, so for the gallery upload and the end result, you also in the beginning when you saw the cinematics, I turned the build around, so it's all fixed. But oh my god, this was confusing. I don't know what's going on. I'm really sorry. I'm so glad that you are watching my videos and that you're using my builds. I don't know, this was like really weird. But back to the build. So I wanted to have the temple on the left side of the lot, so it's like the eye catcher. I wanted to have this beautiful rock garden, a curved path. By the way, I built the curved path that you just saw using the new roof decoration from Snowy Escape. You can simply rotate it, and it's perfect for stuff like this. Really grateful for this object. As I always say when I talk about the Get Famous Pristine Pedestal, for example, or the Sparta Stony Goodness Slab, these objects are really simple and versatile, and I feel like the brand new Snowy Escape roof decoration is also pretty versatile. It's great. I mean, I was really happy that I could just use it for my curved path. I just rotated it, holding down Alt on my keyboard, holding down my left mouse button and moving my mouse. This is how you can freely rotate objects, but don't forget to activate the Sims 3 camera. I always say this, but don't forget to activate this camera. I can generally totally recommend using the Sims 3 camera. It's the better one in my opinion. I mean, I've been playing Sims 3 as well, like I've been playing Sims 1, but I don't know, like after I switched to Sims 4, I used the Sims 3 camera. So I mean, it's also a thing, you're either used to it or not probably, but I could just recommend it because you can pan up and just into any direction, and the Sims 4 camera is much more limited, and it just drives me crazy when I'm using the Sims 4 camera. And some things like the free rotation only work when you are using the Sims 3 camera. I don't know why they did it like this. I have no idea, but yeah, this is why I can just recommend to switch to this one when you're a builder, when you like to build. It's the better one. And here I'm working on the floor plan, and as I said, there were a couple of issues that I just cut out because I was struggling with this a lot. It was like 1 hour of me trying to fix this, so I rebuilt the rooms and just did lots of things which would be boring here, so I just talked about them instead of including this. Like, you just imagine this 5 minutes of sped up footage of just glitching floors. The glitch compilation, this would be great. No, so I just fixed it. This is why you just saw this transition, and then I just kept working on the floor. And then I just wanted to just build this area here using these mats, and you guys let me know that you are technically only supposed to use them in areas where you use the special table, so for dining, where you sit on the ground. These mats are really fragile, you said, and also really expensive, so you take off your shoes, and when you walk on these mats, you just treat them with respect, because they are like really fragile and they cost a lot, so you don't just use them anywhere in a kitchen or something. I did this for my last speed build, and again, just a game, I know, but I wanted to do this more realistic. This is like not really realistic again, but I wanted to just use your advice, the advice that you all gave me. So I only used these mats in certain areas. I used it here in the sunken area where I placed the table, and also in the living room area. I think someone mentioned that technically you are not even supposed to use them in bedrooms when you are using Western furniture. I didn't do that, so I only used it here and in the living room area. They're so beautiful. I hope that the direction is okay. Someone even said that when you have like that it like has different meanings depending on the direction they are facing. I don't know, really complicated, but I hope that this is all right. And it's like, it turned out so beautiful in my opinion. It looks really traditional, but at the same time kind of modern. I wanted this to be spacious, a bit minimalistic, so there isn't a lot going on when it comes to decoration and furniture. I just have this sunken area. I built a snowy escape shelf all around the wall, and I used these wonderful new windows, and the whole layout was a bit confusing at first, and I had to made some changes also because of the glitches, but then it all came along. I used some candles, and while it's minimalistic, it's still beautiful, and this is kind of this type of aesthetic for me in my opinion, and I just really like how it turned out. And here for these stairs, I just used this gravel, this black kind of gravel. I built some lamps over there and just some rocks with plants, so it looks like a indoor rock garden, but different from the other one. I was going for a different kind of aesthetic here, so I didn't use the new floor that we got in the pack, and I don't know, just want to have some type of modern twist so it's different. It's also not super big. I think there are 4 bedrooms or maybe only 3, I'm not even sure right now. So this house isn't big because it's a combination of 2 builds in one, kind of like a village, but not really. So I have this small house. You could also turn this into a rental lot, which would probably make a lot of sense because you have this huge garden, just some type of Zen area where you can hang out. There's this temple kind of built right next to it. So like a village, but only one house. I just wanted to combine different things, like a park, and then you have this small house right next to it, as if it's like an adjacent lot kind of, but all on one lot and all on a 50 by 50 lot. So not a lot of space. This was challenging, but this is, in case you're wondering, where this house is like not super huge. And I just really enjoyed building this, and I hope that you really enjoy how this turned out. And here I wanted to have a sunken area in the shower, and I was a bit hesitant at this point because, as I said, the platforms cost a lot of trouble. So whenever I had to raise a platform so the doors would match, for example, I was like really hesitant. I was afraid that the glitch would come back, and we have reached this point, afraid to change stuff in a build because of glitches. But I mean, for now we just have to live with this until the next patch, and I'm just eagerly awaiting the patch, so I just tried to make it work for you guys. And there are, like, this is one of the main bedrooms, and I wanted to use lots of black, so it's kind of modern, like really, really monochrome. Also the wall color. At first I wanted to have a painting right over the bed, but then I just used the new shelf that I really love. I always like take a look at new objects and think, okay, can I use them in other builds and stuff? And here it totally works in my opinion. You have so many objects that you could use for any type of build. Some objects clearly look Japanese and they look really traditional, and it might be a bit more difficult to just incorporate them in a, I don't know, just like a contemporary modern kind of build, for example. The same goes for island living. Some objects look more modern or neutral kind of, and some clearly look like wonderful, beautiful island living objects. So I always like to take a look at these objects and how I can use them for future builds. And here for this bedroom, I used a picture that you can place on a wall, and then I just brought it into the correct position, and I placed it on the wallpaper, so I would have this like black line at the top, and at the bottom I just hit the edge by using some snowy escape shelves, and I just wanted to have a really beautiful bedroom. This is technically a kid's room. There aren't a lot of things for kids though in this room. It kind of looks like a regular bedroom. I don't know, it was like really hard to pull off this typical kids room style here for me, I don't know, for whatever reason, and then it just looked like a random bedroom probably, but you could also, I don't know, you could always add some toys, for example. And also shout out to my dear friend Sadie Sim. She inspired me to stack these hot springs. You can see it in the background. I forgot to mention this earlier. And she just inspired me to stack them. I used them in my last speed build, but here, as you can see, they just have this kind of look and they're stacked and they're beautiful. And she inspired me to do this. So shout out to Sadie Sim. She is just the best. Check out her link in the description box. So here I'm working on the inside of the temple finally. And as you just saw, it's just like a indoor rock garden, and I used lots of debug rocks around the temple and they were glitching into the room, so I decided to just use this kind of look to turn it into just a rock garden, and it looks as if the room or the building was built inside a mountain, kind of this kind of thing where you just kind of incorporate the surroundings into a build, like organic architecture or something. I just tried to make use of this little glitch kind of, and then I just turned up the upstairs into a meditation room just to keep it really neutral and chill and zen. So yeah, this is it. Here you can see lots of screenshots. I turned it around. This is where the light is like completely different here. As I said, at first this build was facing into the other direction, but then I turned it around. So in case you're wondering about the light, that's the reason. Of course, you can find this build in the gallery, fully furnished, no CC, unmodded, so you can grab it from the gallery. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a perfect day, and I hope I see you in the next video. Bye bye.